What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Shop Talk with your host, your boy, Whitey. I'm coming to y'all today. I wanted to talk a little bit about the homie KB, Kwame Brown. For those that know, y'all know who Kwame Brown is. 2001, number one draft pick, the NBA, drafted by the Washington Wizards, coming straight from high school, 18-year-old coming from straight from high school. I want to talk a little bit about his situation. And the reason I know a lot of things has calmed down with the Kwame Brown situation, especially over the internet, especially over YouTube with his podcast, and him responding to all the negativity about him for most of his life since he was a teenager. I understand that whole journey. But I wanted to talk a little bit about him. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I watched a podcast called The Pivot. The host on those podcasts is Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. And they did a great job. Salute to The Pivot. I want to salute them for the great work that they do and the work they did with KB. I want to salute them for that. Also, I want to salute Kwame Brown. Want to talk a little bit about that journey. All the stuff that came out in the last year or so ago, with his situation, with him responding to all the bus talk, people calling him a bus, his back and forth, his issue with Stephen A. Smith, Stephen Jackson, and the podcast, All the Smoke. I want to talk a little bit about that. But first, I want to talk about the young man, Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown played 12 seasons in the NBA, 12, 13 seasons. He was drafted by the Washington Wizards back in 2001. He was the number one pick coming straight out of high school. Only a few players did that before him. He was 18 years old. And remember, he was in 2001. Michael Jordan played on that team. Michael Jordan was like a partial owner. He was also like a player for the team. It was a lot on this young man's shoulder. The Wizards was playing at that time. They were trying to win a championship. You can imagine Michael Jordan on the team. They trying to win a championship. I'm old enough to remember all this. I remember, and for you young people out there, y'all probably don't remember it, but you could Google it. Google will tell you everything. You can Google Kwame Brown, and you could see his stats and see everything. I personally never thought this young man was a bust. Never seen him as a bust. I watched him when he played with Kobe on the Lakers. I know he played for Philly a little while. I think he played for Golden State Warriors. He played on a few different teams. I think Charlotte Hornets. This young man was born in South Carolina. I can't remember what town of South Carolina. He come out of South Carolina. I think he left South Carolina at an early age. This man, and at the time, young man, he had a lot on his plate. He had a lot to deal with. If you hear the story, with his dad, with his siblings, the dude went through a lot. This young man went through a lot, and I salute him. And I personally, it's my personal opinion, this dude was not a bust. And for anybody to call him a bust, yeah, he took on the name Bust Life. I got it. I think that's the name of his platform, Bust Life. And I respect it. You know what I mean? And I listened to him talk. This was pretty much the first time I heard him talk on an interview, being interviewed by someone else. besides his own platform. Most of the stuff on his platform, you know, he goes in. He goes in on different people that have pretty much, he feels, done stuff to him. And you get nothing but respect from me. I understand. But listen to him talk on the pivot and the way they did the pivot. I know, like I said, I watched it. And Channing, if you ever watch a pivot, Channing is a funny dude. He's a funny dude. Good dude, funny dude though. Uh he said he thought Kwame was gonna come in there on some BS. You know what I mean? Like, want to beat people up and all that, because they label him as an angry person. He's very angry, he might want to put hands on you, this, that, and the other. But this interview was very interesting. It was very well organized. The young man, he handled himself real good, and I know it's been other platforms that invited him on, like Vlad TV invited him. He refused to go on. He stated in this interview, and I could show y'all some of this interview. I do have it, the pivot interview, but I'm not going to really play it because, for copyrights things, I won't play it. But you can look it up. You can look up pivot, and you can see the interview for yourself. And once I figure out how I can play different videos, I mean, I know how to play them, but I got to put the copyright thing up. I got to do all that. I wasn't going to do all that. I want to talk about it right now. I want to talk about it while it was on my mind. And like I said, man, listen, this young man, KB, Kwame Brown, was labeled as a bust. I want y'all to go down in the comment section. I want y'all to tell me what y'all think about Kwame Brown. You think he was a bust? Because I don't. He played for 12 seasons, bro. How you a bust? You play for 12 seasons in the NBA. In the NBA. Yes, I understand. He never was an all-star. He ain't going into the Hall of Fame. But I watched some of his games. I remember watching him. I watched him in LA when he played with Kobe. I watched him play. If I'm not mistaken, Kwame is about 6'11", 6'10", 6'11", might be 7 feet. I ain't really 100% sure. I'm not looking at it right now, but he's a big dude. Man, this dude moved like a guard. Yeah, he wasn't that dominant player. He wasn't Shaquille O'Neal. You know what I mean? But listen, man, I wanted to talk about it. I've been wanting to talk about him for a while. And the reason I came out today, because like I said, I watched that interview on the pivot, and that was it. That was like man, I want to talk about this young man, and I want to salute him. I definitely want to salute him, and the way he went about his whole situation. Yeah, some of the things he didn't have to do, because he'll tell you none of that bothered him. It never bothered him. These people I think the biggest thing that really bothered him was the Stephen A. Smith situation. It's reported and it's been all over. So I know for a fact that most of it is true. Stephen A., this kid was like 17 years old. Stephen A. is going to different schools, and he's talking about this kid, this future #1 pick in the NBA. Like, for what? You're talking to kids about this young man. I didn't get that part. I don't understand it. I don't even understand how someone to put someone down because of the way they play their sport, and you ain't even half that. Not even half that. So I didn't get that. I didn't understand that. But I just want to come on. I want to salute the young man, KB, Kwame. If you're hearing this, salute to you, peace to you. Uh keep doing what you're doing. I know you're raising a family. Uh I know you got a lot going on with your real estate, stuff like that. But yo, listen, what I wanted to ask y'all, people that's seeing this and people that's hearing this, I want y'all to go down in the comment section. I want to know what y'all feel about KB. I want to hear from you guys. So please leave a comment. And remember, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down and smash that subscribe button, like and share the video. I love coming to you guys with scenarios and situations that's happening that I see. I like to bring it to y'all, and today I wanted to bring y'all the Kwame Brown. I don't even want to call it a situation. Just the stuff this young man been through in the last 20 years, and for some reason, you know, he put a stop to it. I don't know if you want to call it a stop, but he stood up for after so many years and came out and said, yo, it's time for me to do this, that, and the other. And I know he said on the pivot that, because they asked him that question, why now? Like, why you come out, in the last year or so, all these years that's been going on. But, he said he had a lot of stuff going on in his life. You know what I mean? He was back and forth in court, family court, trying to get his children, and he was doing a lot of things. And at that time, a lot of that wasn't important to him. It didn't matter to him. And then I guess after he got the situation set, one day something just hit him. One day something came across him. He's like, yo, it's time for me to, let the cat out the bag. And what I could tell y'all right now, from me following him for the last year or so on his platform, uh, obviously watching his basketball career, Kwame Brown want to smoke. He want to smoke. So if you don't want to smoke, leave that young man alone, because he definitely gonna want to smoke. And like always, y'all know what it is. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. Peace, boy. I'm out.